Also monitoring for you at this hour, we did indicate a number of funeral services are taking place for the 14 victims of Monday's tragedy. The funeral service of 6-year-old Bohlale Tlhonolofatso Lekekela is underway at the Eben-Haezar Pentacost Church in Welkom, that's in the Free State. It was one of the victims of Monday's horrific crash. That's, of course, of the Scholar transportation crash where their minibus taxi collided with a truck. Let's take you live there now to that funeral service. Funeral service of 6-year-old Bohlale Tlhonolofatso Lekekela, which is taking place at the Eben-Haezar Pentacost Church in Welkom in the Free State. Some of the families, of course, as we indicated a bit earlier on, laying to rest some of the victims of Monday's horrific Scholar transport crash. 14 lives, young lives, cut short after their minibus collided with a truck. You'd recall on Thursday, the man accused of their murder, he had been facing culpable homicide charges, but now faces 14 counts of murder. This after the NPA said there was enough in the docket to change the charges from culpable homicide to murder. And the expectation, of course, in fact, what we heard from the MEC of Education here in Gauteng yesterday at the memorial service that had taken place for all of the victims of this tragedy, that stern measures will be put in place to ensure that there's much more supervision or regulation of these transport or scholar transportation vehicles, in that more measures need to be put in place to ensure that there are stricter measures, if I can then, stricter measures put in place to ensure that there's some kind of adherence to regulations, how they drive, additional systems, I guess in addition to what we have at this particular stage, accusations of it just being a money-making scheme where anyone and everyone is able to just get a PDP and is able to transport young people. So let's see if that happens. Lots of promises made by the Gauteng government relating to that. So let's see indeed if that does happen. We'll certainly have our teams on the ground monitoring that. And also the funeral service of relatives 18-year-old Pielo Mutawung and 7-year-old Lesego Sifatsa were amongst those 14 learners who passed away following that horrific crash in Vanderbijlpark. That's currently underway in Sebokeng as well. Mutawung was a learner at the El Shaddai Christian School, and Sifatsa attended the Oakwood Primary School. They're both from the same house in Zone 14 in Sebokeng. And the families, of course, yesterday, paying tribute to their loved ones at that memorial service. Today is where some of them will be laid to rest. Tomorrow is a mass funeral service that will be taking place for majority of those crash victims. I think we will be listening in to the Sebokeng funeral.
Noma standards kodwa asisilungiseni inkinga yethu abantu abamnyama aseblame so haretse asenzeni ukuthi silungiseni ingaphindi futhi ingakhona abathwana singakwazi ukufabana nabantu kodwa nina masinikeza abantwana sifuna umntwana aphume ku grade 12 ngaphandle kokuya kwade lelapa la Sefatla, imndeni kaSifatla nakamTaung sithi dudusekani uJehova uzangipholisa mangibheka leli khaya ngiyakhuthala ngoba ikhaya lesonto linabantwana abaningi besonto noma ungathi anyakubuye phikweni ulisewa ngeke abuye kodwa abantwana bala kunabazokhona ukuthumeka bakhuliswe ekhaya lakaSifatla babuya bonke.
Naleboha Department of Education.
Department of Education.
Without any further ado, we have come to the end of part 2 Yarona. I just have an announcement. The toilets, they are locked. If there's somebody with the keys,
All right, we'll take you back to those funeral services a bit later on of some of the victims of Monday's horrific crash. That's a scholar transportation vehicle colliding with a taxi. 14 lives cut short.